Dear students, welcome to Mayura Virtual Academy. In the last session, we have designed the layouts for two fragments, that is about fragment and home fragment. In this, we have used linear layout with the text view and the button, and we have inflated the corresponding layout in the onCreateView method of the fragments. In the about fragment, we are inflating fragment underscore about. In the home fragment, we are inflating fragment underscore home. And similarly, we have created one interface called fragment connector to communicate between the fragment and an activity. And we have implemented that the interface in the main activity where we'll be loading the fragments. So to load the fragments, we'll be in need of two classes which will perform the loading and loading of the fragments. That is fragment manager and the fragment transaction. And we have initialized the fragment manager in the onCreate method of an activity. So now let us define one private method called load. It doesn't return anything. So load home fragment. Here we'll initialize the fragment transaction class using the fragment manager object that we have already defined and initialized in the onCreate method. Fragment manager dot begin transaction, and we'll create one object for the home fragment new home fragment. So now it is a time where we need to replace this fragment with the frame holder. So in the main activity, we have defined one frame layout. So this is the layout where we'll be loading the fragments. So we have defined the frame layout with the ID fragment holder. So we can come back to main activity. So we'll use the fragment transaction fragment transaction object dot replace r.id. Fragment holder with this fragment, that is home fragment. Okay. And now once the replacing is done, in order to visible this fragment in the container, we need to commit these changes. So fragment transaction dot commit. So this is how we load the fragment using the fragment transactions. So now let us call this method in the onCreate method of the activity. So whenever the user opens this application and this activity is loaded, initially by default the home fragment will be visible to the user. So because of that, we are using load home fragment method in the onCreate method of an activity. Similar to this, we can define one more method called private void load about fragment. Okay. Here we can copy the same thing. So instead of home fragment, we will create one object for about fragment. Okay. And we'll replace that frame holder with about fragment. So we have got this list view. So whenever the user clicks on home fragment should be loaded. Whenever the user clicks on about fragment should be loaded. So we have defined the list view and we have set the listener to that. Set on item click listener for the list view. So whenever the user clicks on that particular item, on item click method will be invoked. So here we can include one switch case with the position. Say case, if the position is 0, load the home fragment. You can use break. If the position is 1, whenever the user clicks on a particular item with the position 1, we need to load the about fragment and we'll break. And case 2, sorry. So whenever the user clicks on particular item with the position 2, we need to load the contact fragment. Okay. So now let us compile this and have a look at the output. and here is the go, here is the output. So by default a home fragment will be loaded. So whenever the user clicks on about, so you can observe that this the slider drawer layout is not getting closed, but however the about fragment will be loaded into this. So go here, whenever the user clicks on home fragment will be loaded. Whenever the user clicks on about fragment will be loaded. Similarly, whenever the user clicks on contact us, nothing will happen, so it remains same. See, this is for the better user experience. Whenever the user clicks on particular item, automatically this drawer layout should be closed. Say coming to on item click listener. Say before we perform any operation, let us use M drawer layout, and we can close the drawer with the navigation layout. M navigation layout. So whenever the user clicks without checking anything, we'll be closing the drawer layout. So one more scenario over here is, say now the user is in drawer layout, and suppose if the user clicks back button, the entire application is getting destroyed or killed, so it is getting closed. So this is not better user experience. In order to make better, so whenever the user clicks on back button, first the drawer layout should be closed, and if the again user clicks on the back button, it is understood that user want to close the application, so then we need to close the application. So for that we need to override one method called back pressed method that is present here. So here we'll override this method. We will check if M drawer layout is drawer open with the navigation layout. First we will close drawer layout with the navigation layout, else you can call this super method. What this super method will does is, it will just close the application, it will destroy the application. Okay, so let us compile these changes and we'll have a look at the output. So here is the output. So by default the home fragment will be loaded. So whenever the user clicks on a drawer toggle button, user clicks on home, automatically the drawer layout will be closed and the home fragment will be loaded. Whenever the user clicks on about, drawer layout will be closed and about fragment will be loaded. So at present we are not performing any operation on the contact the item over here. So whenever the user clicks, drawer layout will be closed, but there won't be any operations over here. And other scenario is you open the drawer layout and click back button, first drawer layout will be closed and still application will be running, and the second time when the user clicks on back button, application will be closed. So this is how it works. And one more scenario that we need to look is now how to use the same fragment, say home fragment, for two purposes. Now we are using for the home fragment. At the same time whenever the user clicks on contact, instead of showing as the home fragment, we need to display it as contact as fragment. Okay, so now let us come into home fragment for text view. So what we can do is we can give some ID, Android ID, say change the text. Okay, the main activity will use the same method called load home fragment. So we'll give one parameter called int a. Okay, so in the onCreate, by default we should load the home fragment and its position is 0, and here we'll pass the parameter as position. Okay, similarly we can call the home fragment in the case 2 also. So now we'll also look into how we can pass the data. So now we are taking the parameter as a position into this activity, this method, that is load home fragment. Now we'll pass this parameter into the fragment and we'll pass the data into the home fragment. In the home fragment we will read the data. Say from activity we are sending some data. In the fragment we will read the data that is coming from the activity. So based on the data that we receive, we can use the same fragment for multiple purpose. So coming into the main activity over here, so in this method, before we replace the fragment, let us initialize one bundle object. Bundle is equal to new bundle object. So through the bundle object we can pass the data from one component to the other. So bundle dot put string, we are passing what? Integer. Okay, put int. We need to define one key, so we will define one public key because we need to access the same through the same key using even in the fragments. Public static final string, so it is, can give a name as key, so underscore key. Okay, in this method here it will be key and will be passing a, small a, and for the home fragment we are passing home fragment. We use set argument methods to pass the data from activity to the fragment, and it takes the parameter as bundle. So this is how we pass the data. So in the home fragment, here we can get the data using the bundle object. Bundle is equal to get arguments. We will check if the bundle is not equal to null. This is the defensive mode, so you need to always check whether null is not equal to bundle. Okay, if it is not null, we will include int. We will get the data using the, that is the int dot bundle dot get int with the key main activity dot key. Okay, if key is not equal to not the key, data is not equal to 0, or we can use data equal to 2, we can perform the operations. Okay, so here we can initialize the views because this is where we are going to get the views. Text view, we can use view text view, so we will typecast it to text view. From view we are going to get view dot find view by id, r dot id fragment dot home. Here we have given change text. So by default it will be having the text as the home fragment. So whenever the user clicks on this item, say the particular item with the key s2, it will be coming over here in the text view dot set text contact us. So else if it is not null, if it is equal to null, it means that we are not sending any data from activity to here. So let it be get activity dot get resources dot get string. So in that we'll say r dot string dot this home fragment. Is it? Yes. So now let us compile this and we'll have a look at it. Here is the output. By default it is home fragment, about fragment. When you click on contact, it is contact fragment. So we have used home fragment as contact fragment. So one fragment we can be used for multiple purpose. So that's it for this session. Thank you. Have a great day.